Greetings, people of the world! Matthew back with you here at Novora Autism for the continuation of this blind Let's Play of EarthBound. And last time, we came back to Foreside, where we were able to pay off the Runaway Five's debts with a diamond given to us by the miners. And then, unfortunately, when we went into this department store, Mal got kidnapped, and we ran into a whole bunch of enemies like these that proved to be virtually impossible for me to kill off. Now, I'm going to put this out right now. This was actually, and I was actually keeping track, the 12th time I was actually trying to make my way through this place, which pretty much tells you the misfortunes I was running into. So, because I was raging so much, this episode, my commentary is in post-production, because quite frankly, I would have preferred this episode to be talking about something a little more on a positive note, and instead of a negative, because after raging so many times, people did give me recommendations after I put up the previous episode on ways I could save myself, but not even they were completely foolproof, and so even when using their recommendations, they weren't always 100% effective. So ultimately, you are seeing this because I did finally clear the boss of the department store, so since I prefer to focus on something more positive, I'm going to talk about something that's actually going on the night I'm recording this particular episode. And so, actually, the night that I'm doing post-production for this episode. Something's going on this evening in my hometown that I've actually featured on my YouTube channel back in 2012. It was actually one of the first videos I did, even before I started doing my first official Let's Play for Phantasy Star 4. I actually featured a video that showed off what is going to be going on this evening in my hometown. The local hockey team, the Kitchener Rangers, are having their annual teddy bear toss game, where fans are invited to come to bring teddy bears as well as stuffed animals to the game, and they are donated in a very special way. They are donated by them being thrown onto the ice after the home team scores their first goal. This is something I showed off in a video 3 years ago. If you haven't had the chance to see this particular video and understand what this is all about, I would strongly encourage you to do so. It was one of my the first in my featured videos list. And so I would certainly encourage you to go check out that video to see what this is all about. But it's one of those things that definitely puts on a smile on your face, because all the teddy bears and all the stuffed animals that get thrown onto the ice are, of course, given to children in families that might not necessarily be able to afford Christmas gifts. And so to be able to give them these teddy bears and these stuffed animals is obviously something that we take great pride in doing. We've been, the Kitchener Rangers have been doing this for nearly 20 years now, and every year the number of teddy bears that's that have been donated keeps going up, which is really cool. We actually have been getting to the point where we're hoping that this year we'll be able to get 10,000 teddy bears donated, which is a lot of teddy bears, I'm sure you'll agree, especially when you consider that our arena only seats about 7,500 people. So there's a lot, definitely no shortage of enthusiasm when it comes to making donations for this event, because it's certainly something that I've been to a few times before, including having the opportunity to get it recorded to show off to people on YouTube. And so I take great pride in terms of local knowledge that we've been doing that. As I mentioned before, we're looking to get to 10,000 this year. I'll put in the video about this point whether or not we actually did hit 10,000 for this year's teddy bear toss. The opponent that we're going to be, that the Rangers are going to be playing tonight is actually the same opponent that they were playing when I had the video going on for YouTube 3 years ago, which is our nearby rivals, the Guelph Storm. And we are hoping that it'll be a quick goal this year, because unlike last time when I went to the teddy bear game where the two teams were pretty evenly matched and were both fairly competitive, this year the Rangers have been one of the best teams in the league, and Guelph has actually been the worst. Hopefully it's a good omen, but I would shudder to think that it's a bad omen, but, you know, I'm like to think that since this is an episode that I would like to talk about in terms of positivity in contrast to the negative that I had to go through just to get to this boss, was definitely something that I had a great deal of frustration over, but I'm glad that I'm not going to have time to go to the game myself this year, primarily because of my work schedule. I'll be back just in time to be able to start watching the game on TV. But as far as being able to see the game for myself this year, obviously because of aforementioned work schedule, not possible. However, I certainly wish that everyone will be able to, who that's going to the game tonight, will be able to show off the generosity of our fair city, and because we pretty much are the city, our team, the Kitchener Rangers, were pretty much the ones that started the idea of the teddy bear toss, and now a whole bunch of junior hockey teams and semi-pro hockey teams in Canada have also taken the idea and really run with it. Like, the semi-pro hockey team in Calgary a few days ago, I was reading up online, of course, they have an NHL team, the Flames, but they also have a semi-pro team called the Hitmen, and they actually really get into the teddy bear toss. This year, they actually were donating in Calgary for that particular game for their teddy bear toss over 28,000 teddy bears. This can primarily be attributed to the fact that they have a larger arena than we do, because the semi-pro team uses the same arena as the Flames do, and also the fact that Calgary is a bigger city than Kitchener is. Calgary has about a million people living there. We only have about half that. But nonetheless, I mean, to see that the concept that our city started is really being taken and being used by so many of the junior hockey teams and the semi-pro hockey teams here in Canada is really cool. I don't know if the concept has trickled down to the US all that much, even though there are some American teams that are a part of the junior hockey and semi-pro leagues that we have here in Canada. There are teams that are in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Washington State. So, and there also used to be one in Maine as well. So, there definitely has been a presence and an influence for those guys, but yeah, as we get to see the pervert showing up, yeah, I would have a dirty reference to use here, but this isn't the episode for that, so we'll just let this one slide. We're giving the pervert a freebie tonight because I'm willing to do so. So yeah, as you saw, well, there were some things that I could have gone and really had an opportunity to use if I'd known about them, because, of course, this being a blind Let's Play, I didn't really know that there was more better equipment than what was over there, because when I saw toys, I was thinking like the teddy bears, and I was thinking like, oh, I don't need teddy bears, I need like equipment, I need weapons and armor and that sort of thing. And it turns out that this place actually, the toy part of the department store actually had more stuff than I was thinking it did, which really was a shock. So, suffice it to say, with my ego bruised beyond all comprehension, I made it a point to really make up for what I lost. So yeah, on the theme of teddy bears, I decided I need to stock up on teddy bears. It's too bad I can't throw these onto a sheet of ice at a semi-pro hockey game. But, you know, you do what you gotta do, so, I'm trying to think of what else I could talk about in regards to, this little teddy bear thing that we've gotten. Well, I'll talk about also, the fact that having the opportunity of having seen this for myself, the first time I actually went to one of our team's teddy bear games was back in 2010. And the first goal was scored within a minute, which was crazy because, you know, you go into that thinking like, well, I hope they score but you don't expect that they would score so quickly, but they did. And pretty much like, well, let's just get this out of the way right now. And whoa, throw your teddy bear or your stuffed animal onto the ice. You really have not had the opportunity to really experience community spirit in sports until you go and see one of these things for yourself, or watch it on my YouTube video from 3 years ago. I think it's still crazy that I've had the opportunity to see this myself, and so knowing that I get to enjoy this experience, I mean, I can only imagine how exciting it must be for everyone that gets to go, because they know that they get to make a difference in the community by helping out the less fortunate in such a unique and awesome way. Because as I mentioned before, it's not just limited to teddy bears. Like, people will throw stuffed animals of all shapes and sizes, and some of these are like, they're like little Beanie Baby sizes that you can hold in the palm of your hand, and they're much easier to throw. And some people will throw like big stuffed animals that are like the size of a child. And no, I'm not kidding. That's actually legitimate. People have actually done that before. And so, seeing what people are willing to contribute as part of these annual teddy bear toss games is just really cool. And as I mentioned before, it gives me great pride in knowing that I get to be a part of that. And yeah, considering what we're currently seeing right now in Mr. Monotoli's building, yeah, a lot of mafia-themed stuff going on in here. So yeah, me talking about being kind and generous and being part of a community that does the same definitely puts a smile on my face. In fact, I would encourage you, like, if you've ever been to an event where people were asked not to donate food or money to the less fortunate, but were asked to donate something that could actually be like Christmas gifts, that sort of thing, and if you've ever actually done that for yourself. Because I've done volunteer work in the past where we've had where the volunteer groups I've been working with not only get to work together to prepare food hampers for the poor, but we also get to help out in such a way that we get to also purchase toys for the kids. Like one of our oldest members that was in one of the volunteer groups I was with, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he was a World War II veteran, and he always used we have a hardware store chain here in Canada called Canadian Tire, and they're known for having their own unique currency. And so what this World War II war veteran member of our volunteer group would do is that he would collect Canadian Tire's currency throughout the year, and he would use it to spend on children's toys to give to the poor. So any creative way that you could think of, and even one year, the large umbrella of headquarters of the volunteer group that I was involved with, and still am, introduced the program where you could do cash donations to help out particular groups. And one of the benefits of it was that you could set aside 25% of what you raised to be able to use for charity purposes in a way that you saw fit within your local community. And so we decided that one year we would use that money to help out and add to the Canadian Tire currency to help out our member, our World War II vets, to help him buy even more toys for the children. So it really does say a lot about what we've been able to do where I live, and what we've been able to accomplish as far as supporting the less fortunate, whether it be through cash donations or helping out with the food banks or buying children's toys for Christmas. I mean, it's of course very gratifying and satisfying work, and we get to know that we have the satisfaction of helping out people when they need it the most. And in fact, just this past week, staying on the theme of less fortunate, my church announced this past week that we were going to start raising funds to help bring a refugee family from Syria over to the area where I live, and to help support them and integrate them into our society, to get them set up with a place to live, jobs, education, that sort of thing. So it really does say a lot that, especially around this time of year, that my community and the volunteer groups that I'm working with are really coming together in such a great way. And in fact, one of the volunteer groups that I'm involved with as well, and have been involved with in the past, I've asked them to help me because I wanted to create a new intro video for my YouTube channel, and I have a concept for it, but I felt like to really make it mean something, I wanted to get some of the volunteer groups that I deal with involved, and one of them in particular is a group that I mentioned before, Waterloo Region Family Network. That is a group that helps out young people and young adults with all types of disabilities, not just autism, to help them, teach them how to be independent and be able to support themselves through being able to find work, whether it be paid or volunteer. The last time I went to see them, they were hosting a cooking class, and they were actually creating what I would like to call a lasagna roulade. They basically took cooked lasagna noodles, and they then used marinara and ricotta cheese, spread it across the length of the noodle, and then just rolled it up and put them all in a pan. Some of the stuff leaked out, but when it was all said and done, it was still pretty good. And the fact that they're showing these young people, these young adults, to cook in such a creative way is also really cool. Especially if you're a little kid and you see something like that, and you just want to get down and dirty. Because, yeah, let's face it, what little kid hasn't thought about doing that? So yeah, there's just so much good stuff going on with where I'm living right now. It definitely has been worth it for me, and knowing that we're getting to help out so many people in so many ways. So I'm really looking forward to seeing these, the volunteer group that I'm asking to help me with my YouTube channel intro next week. I'm going to be seeing them next week. They're doing a Christmas potluck, and so I'm going to be there as well, and hopefully we'll be able to bring the concept that I have in mind for this new YouTube intro video that I have in mind and bring it to life. I'm taking a week off of work during the week of Christmas, so I'll have plenty of opportunity to work on it then. And so by the time it's all said and done, I really hope that what I ultimately produce is something that you guys are really going to enjoy, and it'll really help to bring even greater awareness about this YouTube channel and what it is that I'm doing. So ultimately, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next with the YouTube channel, especially with the big project I have in mind to do starting next year. And so I hope that all of you will be looking forward to seeing what I have in mind when it begins. So this is where the video is going to end, is at this transition point in the cafe where all of a sudden it turns into a nightclub. So we're going to end the video here because I feel happy with what we produced with this episode, at least from my point. So I hope that I'll be able to see all of you again as we get back to regular commentary. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of this blind Let's Play of EarthBound. And when I join you again, we will start to make our way out of the nightclub and see what happens to Fourside at night. So until next time everyone, this is Matthew with Novora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.